Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside the Twisted Angel, D.D. Woodson, and Anthony Florio. Unfortunately, Michael Bullock will not be on the show tonight. Commitments beyond his control. As everybody knows, we all have commitments outside of our jobs. So, no problem, guys. We're just going to dive right in. Smackdown Live basically was from the night after, from the Raw reunion. This time we were in hot Miami, the American Airlines arena, uh, in South Beach in Miami. All right. So, excuse me, 1 second. Come in. Hold on. Nothing. Because what happened? My thing just froze. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know if you guys can even hear me right now. Um, I don't know.
No, we hear you.
Something's acting up. I don't know if it's my headset or if it's just my connect. All right, good. Thank God, because I don't know. It's like going wicked slow on my end. So all right, so
Yep.
we start. Well, first off, we were gonna talk about SmackDown Live. As many of you guys knows, David Otunga was at ringside with Big E Langston and Xavier Woods. As many of you guys know, Corey Graves got the night off, and Byron Saxton actually is dealing with a family tragedy, guys. Byron Saxton actually lost his father during the week. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Byron Saxton's entire family. Um, so basically, tonight we were gonna start it off with Shane McMahon, talking, basically cutting a promo, um, as it was pertaining to um Kevin Owens' challenge, and it looks like he did accept. So there was a little bit of exchange between Owens and Shane. I thought it was pretty good. Good exchange, solid beginning for the show. I really got nothing bad to say about this segment. I thought this was pretty good to start the show. I know a lot of people were wondering what happened to Shawn Michaels. I thought he was going to be commentary all night. They actually relegated him to do a special Mints TV segment, but don't worry, we're going to get into that. That was pretty damn good tonight as well. So, Anthony Floyo, come on in. It's all yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. I was glad to see the Kevin Owens and Shane O'Mac match made official. Now, the match is official. It will take place in the SummerSlam. It will be Kevin Owens against Shane McMahon. And if Kevin Owens loses, Kevin Owens will quit the WWE. But hopefully this will be a clear-cut win for Owens and we can get a bit of a reprieve from Shane for a while. As I've been saying the last few weeks, I've really been digging the babyface Kevin Owens, and I'm really interested to see how he continues to develop. The decision to put him in a match against Roman Reigns, I was a little curious about that. But with something like that, and especially with Shane making himself the ring announcer, Drew McIntyre the referee, and Elias the timekeeper, there's going to be a lot of shenanigans there. Authority type shenanigans, if you know what I mean. So Shawn Michaels, well, we'll get into that in a little bit. Yes, absolutely. And Corey Graves, from what I'm hearing, I think they said he's shooting a movie or something. I'm gonna have to look into that, but that's what I heard. So and yes, thoughts and prayers do indeed go out to Byron Saxton and his family losing his father. I mean, oh man, that's heartbreaking. So I saw something on his Twitter about that, and I was wondering what that was about, but now I know. So, but anywho, that's my thought on it. I agree with MF. Solid way to start it off. And let me just say, this SmackDown was far better than that horrific show last week. So, nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on this opening segment.
It was a solid segment to start off with, and to officially set up the Shane versus Kevin match for SummerSlam. So, I don't got much to say about that. And, I agree with the sentiments about sending the best wishes out to him for the death of his father and his family. And, they're in my thoughts and prayers. So, yeah, not much more I'm going to say. Fletch, it's yours.
All right, and the next thing that we had here was Shinsuke Nakamura, the United States champion, going one-on-one with Apollo Crews. Nakamura wins 8 minutes, 15 seconds. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Yeah, I got to say, this was my, what's that word? My sleeper fight of the night. Sleeper fight of the night right here. Really solid match. I'm going to give this a solid 3 stars. I mean, Apollo Crews is finally getting an opportunity to show his skills on a weekly basis, and you can hear the crowd slowly getting behind him. Nakamura seemed motivated and worked extremely well with Apollo. The post-match attack gives Apollo Crews a reason to show fire in the coming weeks, and it establishes Nakamura as a ruthless heel on a dominant run. I like this match segment, whatever you want to call it, all the way around. So I could probably go as far as to say this was the fight of the night. Go figure, an Apollo Crews match ends up being the fight of the night. But then again, look who he was in there with. Shinsuke Nakamura. How many times have we said fight of the night with his name on it, for goodness sakes, over the years? New Japan, what have you. So, yeah. So, very, very good stuff here. So, and I liked New Day on commentary was very entertaining during this match, especially that one near fall where it looked like Crews was actually going to pull the upset. But yeah, that was all of us during the match. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. So 3 stars, fight of the night. Can't believe I'm saying that. So Didi Woodson, how about it?
I agree. Fight of the night, 3 stars. It was a good match, competitive, and they just kept the momentum going through the whole match, and it was very entertaining and very well done. So yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about this either. So Fletch, take it.
Yeah, this was a solid fight. I thought this was pretty good. No doubt about it. I could say this was a sleeper fight of the night. I could give this about 3 stars, no doubt about that. I mean, this was beautifully done. Then there was a little bit of a backstage moment with Ali. It looks like it is going to be Ali versus Nakamura sometime down the line. So we'll wait and see what happens there. All right, Miz TV with Shawn Michaels, interrupted by Dolph Ziggler. And oh boy, did this break down really fast. How amazing was this segment? Dee Woodson, you lead off on this.
This was probably one of the best segments of the night. While it, it was not much, for me to care about what they had to say about Dolph, but it's still a very good segment with Shawn Michaels, and seeing, just seeing these guys, just take it to each other, because it got pretty physical, and in the end, and there was just a lot of I'm trying to think of my wording. A lot of friendship, I guess, and camaraderie between Miz and Shawn Michaels because of the movies and all that, all the respect and stuff they've got. So yeah, I thought it was a really well done segment. So I don't really have a whole lot negative to say about that either. So Fletch, it's yours.
Segment of the night, and I gotta say it, this has to actually go down as one of the best Miz TV's segments we've had in a very long time, if not maybe top 3 for the best Miz TV segment. This was amazing. Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler just going at it. I mean, just the talk by these two men. This was a great battle of wits between the two. Then the Miz coming in, and how the Miz and Ziggler were going at it. I mean, this was incredible. I mean, everybody played their parts terrifically. I don't think there was one bad moment in this Miz TV. I mean, there's been times where Miz has been bad, or the segment's been bad. We had that okay moment of bliss last night on Raw, but this one absolutely crushed it. I mean, like I said, I don't think there was one bad moment when it came to this segment. Amazing segment of the night. Anthony Florio, go.
Agree to disagree here. Yes, I do agree it was one of the high segments of the night, absolutely. But until Dolph Ziggler showed up, the segment for me kind of seemed to lack a little bit of some purpose. But then, well, here's the reason. The opening moments felt like WWE directly addressing the part of the audience that's tired of seeing nostalgia acts hijack shows. Everyone had a blast was essentially code for don't complain. But then, this is the good here. Things picked up when Dolph Ziggler came out. To be honest, it was a bit surreal seeing Dolph Ziggler and Shawn Michaels in the ring together after many considered it to be a dream match for so long. Could we end up seeing it after all? Or at the very least, HBK accompanying Miz for a match with Ziggler? Now the cork's out of the bottle here. It would not be the end of the world to see Shawn work a couple of matches if that's what he wants to do. The only other downside is I wish a few with Ziggler could mean more, though, in the long run. But other than that, though, this was a phenomenal segment. This ranks up there as one of my segments of the night. There was another one that, really stood out to me just a smidgen more, if I'm going to be honest with you. So there's really nothing more to say except MF, a very interesting women's match. And may not have been much of a match, but oh my goodness, what happened afterwards? Whoa, what a post-match.
Well, yeah, there's really nothing else to say. I mean, the next thing we had was Ember Moon going one-on-one against the Queen Charlotte Flair. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 45 seconds was Ember Moon. She beat Charlotte Flair. Bayley comes out, then basically gets super kicked back of the head by Charlotte, and then Ember Moon hits the Eclipse on Charlotte, then performed the same finisher. She hit the Eclipse on the champion, Bayley. What in the world? Okay. All right. I mean, she just made herself a major player in this title picture, folks. That's what that just meant. That basically just she just lined up and took out the top 2 women on SmackDown Live right now. That was a statement moment, folks. That's all I'm going to say about that. Nice win over Charlotte, no doubt about it. Big 1-2-3 victory and beating Charlotte. Then you hit the eclipse on Charlotte, hit the eclipse on Bayley. Ladies and gentlemen, you got yourself a legitimate threat for the SmackDown Women's title. NA for the fight because it was way too short, but not bad as a segment overall. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
I would have rather see Ember get a real win over Charlotte here to establish that she is an up-and-coming act that should be taken seriously. I'm not surprised they didn't go that route, given how much they value Charlotte Flair. But this segment was an overall net positive for Ember, so it's hard to complain too much. And now it looks like they're trying to, figure out the best way to say this. They're trying to do what they're doing over on Raw with Becky and Natalya. You know how personal that thing just got. So I think they're trying to do the same thing with this match here, which I think would be really great as well. So, but nonetheless, Ember, yeah, she beat Charlotte, but Bayley had a hand in it. I mean, it was a distraction roll-up finish. I mean, I rather would have seen Ember win a hard-hitting, more competitive matchup. Then I wouldn't have poo-pooed all over it, even though I was very happy to see it. I'm very refreshed to see it, but so we'll see what happens. And Charlotte, goes on a backstage rant later on saying that how is she left off SummerSlam? Yeah, that's a good question. How is she left off SummerSlam? She needs a dance partner at SummerSlam. So we'll see what's in store for that. But for right now, it looks like they're trying to, make the Bayley and Ember women's title match just as interesting as Becky and Natalya over on Raw. So that's all there is to say on that. It is an NA, absolutely. But like I said, net positive for Ember Moon. So nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely an NA. If you classify it as a segment, it was pretty good because you got to put Amber over. But I'm not a big fan of how they went about, with the distraction stuff. But it is what it is. As far as this, Charlotte trying to get a match, I'm hoping they don't turn Amber and Bayley into a triple threat. I mean, I've seen enough triple threats. I'm getting kind of tired of triple threats. Let's have a legitimate one-on-one, and let's make this, really good. I think they could really make it very good. Just being Amber and Bayley. I don't see how adding Charlotte is going to make it any better because the fans are getting tired of seeing Charlotte in that title picture. So we'll just kind of have to see how this plays out. Maybe find someone else that she can get a match with, maybe a number one contender match or something to lead up to it. I don't know. They'll have to figure something out because she deserves to be on there because she wasn't on the last pay-per-view either. So not going to say too much more. Let's move on.
All right, and the next thing that we had was Kofi Kingston cutting a promo as WWE Champion. And ladies and gentlemen, we were going to find out who is going to be the challenger for Kofi Kingston at SummerSlam. He decided to call out Randy Orton in the hopes to face him at SummerSlam. Anthony Florio, they went back to that rivalry way back in the day. Nostalgia moment, but I kind of feel like this was the right choice. Orton, Kingston, it looks like they're SummerSlam bound.
They are SummerSlam bound, MF. Like we said last week, when Orton scored the winning fall in that 6-man tag on Kofi, you know what those two words are: championship committee. And and Kofi played the role of the championship committee. He wants Orton, and yes, the real story was a Monday Night Raw in January of 2010. Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, and I believe John Cena were in a triple threat match, and Orton won the match, but Kofi botched the ending of the match. Kofi was supposed to take a punt from Orton, and that didn't happen. And Randy Orton was very, very livid. He said, "You effed up, you effed up," and that's why he went on that hissy fit, took it to management, and the story. Orton played the creative control card, and that's what happened to Kofi. So, with that being said, for me, honestly, this was my segment of the night, and I'm glad they immediately brought up the history between Orton and Kofi. Now, I know there are not some who are going to be particularly excited about Randy Orton title feuds, but this is just about the most interesting one he could have, and probably the most interesting scenario for Kofi right now, too. And I am hopeful that Randy Orton is motivated enough to lead to a really great match at SummerSlam. I mean, Kofi has the chance to right the big wrong here. I mean, this is a match 10 years in the making. And Kofi was on his way to the main event push. And here's another interesting tidbit. WrestleMania 26, Kofi was originally supposed to win the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 26. But because of Randy Orton complaining to management about Kofi's little botcheroo, Kofi does not win the Money in the Bank. That ended up going to Jack Swagger, and the rest of that story. So, think about that. Dwell on that for a little bit. So, little professor moment for me. So, like I said, this was the segment of the night. They went there and then some. I mean, I love the intensity out of both men, and wow, that's all there is to say on this. And Orton and Kofi for the title in the SummerSlam. I really hope Kofi goes over here. I really want to see Kofi right the wrong from 10 years ago. I think he's learned a lot since then. So, nothing more to say. For me, this was my segment of the night. So, nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, wow.
Yeah, this is another really good segment. Very well done promo. And, making the match official, because a lot of people was thinking, that somebody, it would be somebody else that he would have had as the opponent. But I'm kind of glad he did pick Orton. I mean, we are getting a rematch from like 10 years ago. So, yeah, it was great. Very well done in the storyline department, just building it up and everything. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
It was well done. It was well done. The whole segment, everything else. I'm actually happy that Randy Orton gets the opportunity at the title. This is going to be a good storyline. This is a good storyline. This is a good little rivalry. And they could play off the rivalry from back in the day and bring it back to the forefront. If they do that, man, this could be an explosion. But for Kofi, his night was not done, because right after that, Samoa Joe came out and wanted to pick a fight with Kofi Kingston. All right. So the WWE champion, Kofi Kingston, goes up against Samoa Joe, and apparently the fight ends in a no contest, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. It looked like Orton's kind of got involved in this, tried to stick his nose where it doesn't belong. He dropped Samoa Joe with an RKO with the three most dangerous letters in WWE, but then Randy ran into trouble in paradise. Boom, boom, boom. Lordy, you're making me crazy, man. All right, who leads off on this?
I do.
It's all yours then.
Yes, indeed. 2.5 to 3 stars. The only downside here was it was a slow match with odd pacing. They didn't really pick up things until the final minute or so, and by then it seemed obvious that Orton would get involved in some capacity. I really dislike the way Samoa Joe is being utilized right now, often playing the single night foil for a babyface in need of a win. Samoa Joe is treading water and is being taken advantage of because he's so good at reestablishing his heat with a microphone after suffering a loss. So, actually, I'm going to drop this rating. I'm going to give this about 2 to 2.5. That's really the best I can go with this. So, then again, Samoa Joe's on Monday Night Raw, and you know what that means. You always get lost in the shuffle over there. They should have kept him on SmackDown Live. I think you would have fared better. So, really nothing more to say. Didi Whitson, your thoughts on the match? 2 to 2.5 for me.
Yeah, I could agree. 2.5. It was a solid match, fun post match. And it a little more way of building, Kofi and Orton after the segment we had before, but it also saves Joe from eating another pin. So yeah, it doesn't hurt that neither one of them really technically got pinned, but at the same time, it was just more storyline building, and which SmackDown's notorious for. So yeah, not the best match in the world, but it works for what they're wanting to do here. So not much more I'm gonna say. Fletch, it's yours.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that. I'll give it about 2.5 stars. It was all right for what it was worth. Solid fight. Nothing more to say. So we're gonna go into the next thing, which was Caleb Braxton interviewed Finn Balor, and basically they talked about what happened last night on Raw Reunion, where the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, basically jumped Mick Foley. Now, Balor got a little ticked about that, not happy with it, and basically called out Bray Wyatt. Didn't matter if it was the Fiend or Wyatt himself, but he was going to challenge him at SummerSlam. Next thing we know, Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse hits, and basically cuts a promo from the Funhouse with the puppets, Mercy, Ramblin' Rabbit. They actually say that they were big fans of Finn Balor, but the Fiend is not. Well, the Fiend accepts it's on Balor versus Wyatt at SummerSlam. Oh my goodness. This is going to be an interesting fight. Didi Woodson, give me your thoughts about this. Fiend versus, it could be Fiend versus Demon at SummerSlam.
Who cares? Either Demon, or he could be bringing back his other persona, which is Prince Devitt. That would be an awesome one to see, since that was a persona he was using back when he was in the Bullet Club, and since there's rumors that he could possibly go into the Bullet Club, that would be an awesome way to do it, since they're calling themselves the OC over on Raw. So we'll see what happens with that. This is definitely going to be a good match, no matter if it's Finn Balor or Demon Balor or whoever Balor chooses to be at this point in time. But I don't think early predictions. I don't think Balor's going to win, just because of the fact he is taking time off for his wedding. So yeah, either way, this is going to be very well done, and also a chance for Balor to get a little retribution from 8 days ago when Bray took him out, as well as last night with Mick Foley. So yeah, don't have too much more to say. So Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah. And absolutely. I thought this was a great segment. This was beautifully done all the way around. And on top of that, with the storyline, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do down the line. I think to see the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and to see that kind of, the It's going to get very interesting. I think that's the real factor. Is that it's going to get very interesting to see how this plays out. But I think the segment was incredible. I think they did it justice. And to know that it's going to be Balor versus Fiend 1-on-1, I really got nothing more to say. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Yeah, Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
2 years ago, we remember these two met. That's why I'm not overly excited about this being Wyatt's first program, given that both he and Finn Balor desperately need a decisive win in a feud right now. With that being said, I'm glad that we got our first taste of Bray's split personality tonight. I think most of us assume that's likely the direction his new character was headed. And I think it can be very effective if handled with care. The Firefly Funhouse Bray seems to be conflicted and genuine in his desires to right his past wrongs, while the Fiend is the embodiment of a darkness even the old Bray Wyatt didn't exhibit. This could be a lot of fun. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. 2 years ago, Finn Balor went over in what was a Raw quality matchup, but I think this could be a better matchup, and I think that the Fiend will go over this time. So, and hopefully, if that's the case, hopefully it'll be bigger and better things for the Fiend going forward. So, don't box this. You've got a great new character on the horizon here. Don't mess him up. You've already damaged him enough. Hopefully, this is where he can finally, get that push that he should have gotten a long time ago. Do you remember when he was WWE champion a couple of years ago? I don't. Enough said. Move on, MF.
Well, it leads us right into the main event of the evening, guys. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. As expected, the fight exploded. The fight breaks down, and it does end in an apparent no contest. But at the end of the day, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens both were able to basically fight everybody off, and Shane McMahon ended up paying the ultimate price. Superman punch that led to not one, but two stunners by Kevin Owens to Shane McMahon. Well, hey, that's the way the story goes. So, I guess it. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Look. Obviously, the fight's an NA. We knew it was gonna be a cluster. You know what? When you had the way that the fight was gonna go down, it wasn't gonna end right. It was gonna end fair. We knew that, but it actually gives us a feel-good story at the end because the good guys prevail at the end. Roman and Owens overcomes, takes out the three, takes out Elias McIntyre and Shane ends up paying a big price for his atrocities, getting Superman punch and two stunners by Kevin Owens. So, I mean, all in all, everybody goes home happy and back to the drawing board for the evil prodigal son. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Obviously, the match is an NA. And I told you there were going to be some shenanigans. I told you. But nonetheless, the second week in a row that the show has ended with a no contest finish, though they didn't even try to pretend this match was going to really happen. Even still, it wound up being an enjoyable segment. Roman Reigns giving Kevin Owens the floor and solidifying Owens' position with a nod of respect should realistically help both characters. So, nothing more to say. Dee Whitson, your thoughts?
Yeah, this wasn't really even a match, but it was a really good closing angle where the faces stand tall and they outsmarted the heels and overplayed the number game, and that was really a great way to end SmackDown and to build momentum going into the match with Kevin and Shane. So like I said, I have nothing negative to really say about it. Because we all knew, once Shane made the match, even before he started stacking the cards, we pretty much knew it was going to end up being either a no match like we had, or something where both men were going to lose. And this way, I think it came out a little bit better because the face guys came out on top. So yeah, time for Shane to go tuck his head between his legs and go find something else to do until next week when he can play more games. So yeah, nothing else I'm going to say. So Fletch, it's yours.
Time for the overall review. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
6 to 6.5. This was definitely a far better show than last week. Absolutely. Like most SmackDowns, there was a fair amount of good with some bad sprinkled in. From a storyline perspective, I'd give tonight a solid thumbs up. We got some positive SummerSlam developments, some teases for Charlotte's future, a curious situation between Dolph Ziggler and Shawn Michaels, and a new segment for Bray Wyatt. On the downside, however, we did not see anything out of the tag team division tonight. Samoa Joe continues to get lost in the shuffle, but then again, he's on Raw. What else is new? And Shane O'Mac continues to dominate screen time. I thought the change in commentary teams was refreshing, even if only to get some different perspective and new voices on the show for a week. I'm all for keeping the commentary teams exclusive, and we'll see what happens with that. But I would have loved to have seen HBK on that tonight. That would have been awesome, but they obviously had different plans for him. New Day was entertaining, especially during the Cruz and Nakamura match. Otunga was Otunga. What else is new? Back on SmackDown Live for the first time in a couple years, and we also got some. We also had a little bit of some heel Michael Cole this evening, which was pretty cool. Missed the voice of Monday Night Raw coming in and having some fun on SmackDown Live. That was pretty cool. I think they had him fill the heel void for Corey Graves since Graves wasn't there. So we did get a little bit of that this evening. So that's all there is to say on that. I think 6 to 6.5 is the appropriate rating. We had some very good segments. We only had like one really standout match, Cruz and Nakamura. What a pleasant surprise that was. Kofi and Joe could have been better, and the other matches were just there. So, but the segments were what made this show really good tonight. Segment heavy show this evening. So 6.5. I think that's the best way to go. So Didi Woodson, your overall thoughts tonight?
Yeah, this is a very well done show, very storyline driven, as usual for SmackDown. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of matches, but they still managed to use every bit that they could to build up for SummerSlam. Definitely, SmackDown won the week over Raw. I'm going to go a little higher than Floria, though. I'm going to give it a 7. I thought it was, very well done because of, they definitely drove home a lot of the storyline stuff. Yeah, we had, not so great matches. And, by default, KO and Reigns has to be probably your worst match just because it wasn't a match. But it was still a good segment. So, it is what it is there. But yeah, I mean, hearing the change in the announced teams, hearing New Day out there as announcing was kind of nice. It was kind of nice to hear something a little different. Also, kind of nice to have 1 week without having Corey Graves 2 nights in a row because, as most people know, I'm not a big fan of Corey Graves. So. Yeah, not much more I'm going to say about it, so I guess I will see you guys next week. Good night, guys.
All right, Didi. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm gonna give this about a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I thought it was a good show. Nothing more to say about that. SmackDown did a lot better this week than they handled their expectations. Each and every week the expectation gets a little harder, tougher, and they delivered. So good job, SmackDown Live. Nothing more to say. that's it for tonight, folks. We got nothing else. No Mikey's Mindset tonight. And unfortunately, well, fortunately for me, for Anthony, for Mike Bullock, and for our producers and our crew who works wicked hard for us, Friday, we got the night off. No Strictly Sports. I know. Shocker. Derek Ferrera dropped the bomb on us yesterday saying no Strictly Sports this week. So enjoy the bye week, Florio. We get to play like the NFL. We get the bye week on this one. So, probably best thing to do, because next week is Hall of Fame game. And on top of that, we start winding down our Strictly Sports schedule, because right after that, we rev up our football schedule. College and NFL is right around the corner. So we're going to be back at it again Monday night, 11 p.m. Eastern on the Tone 25 with another edition of Ridiculously Raw. And then come back here 1 week from tonight, another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll let you know if it's 10 or 10:30. It's going to be somewhere around that time. But until then, for Anthony Flail, for Didi Woodson, I'm Mike Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. And so long for now. Bye-bye.